Hey everyone, it's Mohit here, and today we're talking about something a lot of people are feeling right now, but aren't saying out loud. Why so many normal people, the ones with regular jobs, maybe even pretty good salaries, are quietly going broke in 2026. If you're making $60,000, $80,000, or even over $100,000 a year, and you still feel like you're barely making it to the next paycheck, you're not imagining it. And no, it's not because you're irresponsible or bad with money. There are real structural reasons this is happening to millions of everyday Americans right now. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the biggest culprits, backed by the most recent numbers, why this squeeze is tighter than ever, what the traps look like up close, and then, most importantly, the simple, realistic moves you can start making right away to stop the bleeding and actually start getting ahead. If any part of this already sounds familiar, stick with me. Hit that like button if you're ready for some straight talk, subscribe if you want more of this kind of breakdown, and let's jump in. Let's start with the cold, hard numbers, because they tell the story better than feelings ever could. At the end of 2025, total credit card debt in the United States crossed $1.23 trillion. That's trillion with a T. And early 2026 data shows it's still climbing. The average balance for people who carry credit card debt is sitting around $6,500 to $7,000 per person right now. And the average interest rate on those cards is 22 to 23%. Think about that for a second. If you're only making minimum payments, the majority of every dollar you send in is going straight to interest, not actually paying down what you owe. Total household debt, mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, personal loans, is over $18 trillion. And one of the most telling stats? Roughly 37 to 40% of Americans say they could not cover a $400 emergency expense right now without borrowing money, selling something, or going into debt. That number hasn't moved much in years, even as wages have gone up for some people. This isn't dramatic bankruptcy-level broke. This is quietly broke. You still have a roof, a car, maybe nice clothes, you post vacations on Instagram, but underneath it all, the math just isn't working anymore. So reason number one, and this one hits almost everyone, is lifestyle creep, combined with sticky high prices. You get a raise, you switch to a better-paying job, maybe you finally land that promotion. Feels great. But instead of the extra money going toward building wealth, your lifestyle quietly upgrades to match or even exceed the new income. It's not usually one big, reckless purchase. It's a bunch of small, logical upgrades that add up fast. Moving to a nicer apartment with higher rent, getting a newer car with a bigger payment, upgrading the phone plan, adding more streaming services, eating out a little more often because we deserve it after a tough year. And here's the kicker. Even though headline inflation has cooled from its 2022 peak, the cost baseline for rent, groceries, insurance, utilities, and cars is still much higher than it was in 2019 or 2020. So when your income goes up 10%, but your fixed costs have already gone up 30 to 40% over the last few years, that raise doesn't feel like a raise. It just keeps you floating at the same level. Real example I see all the time. Someone making $75,000 gets a $10,000 raise. Instead of saving or investing the difference, they move from a $1,600 a month apartment to a $2,200 a month one. Start leasing a $450 a month car instead of a $250 one. Add Disney Plus and Hulu on top of Netflix, and suddenly the extra $800 a month is gone before they even notice. The harsh truth here is simple. A higher salary doesn't make you richer if your spending rises to swallow every dollar of it. Reason number two, the buy now, pay later explosion. BNPL, Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay, PayPal, Pay in 4, feels like free money. Only 4 payments of $75. Sounds harmless. But it's quietly becoming one of the biggest debt accelerators for normal people in 2026. Here's why it hurts more than people realize. Those small payments stack up across multiple purchases. You buy shoes, headphones, Christmas gifts, furniture, even groceries sometimes. Before you know it, you have 6 or 7 active BNPL plans. Miss one payment? Late fees kick in. Pay late a couple times? It can start hurting your credit score. Recent surveys show even people earning over $100,000 a year are using BNPL more frequently now. About 38% of higher earners have at least one active plan. And because it doesn't show up as traditional debt on your credit report right away, it's easy to pretend it's not real borrowing. But it is borrowing. And when you combine BNPL with credit cards already at 22% interest, you end up in a cycle where you're constantly borrowing to maintain the lifestyle you upgraded into during the good months. If you're using BNPL for essentials, rent, bills, food, that's a very clear signal the system is breaking. Reason number 3, death by 1,000 small cuts, subscriptions, fees, and creeping fixed costs. The average American now has 10 to 15 recurring subscriptions and charges every month. Streaming services, music, cloud storage, gym memberships most people barely use, Amazon Prime, phone insurance, extended warranties, meal kits, app trials that never get canceled. Each one is only $10 to $25, so it doesn't feel like much. But $15 here, $20 there, $12.99 there, it adds up to $200 to $400 a month. That's $2,400 to $4,800 a year, disappearing without you consciously deciding to spend it. Then layer on the quiet increases nobody notices. Car insurance up 15 to 20% in many states, health insurance premiums creeping higher, bank maintenance fees if your balance dips, credit card annual fees on premium cards people signed up for during a sign-up bonus chase. You don't feel these one at a time, but together they steal hundreds of dollars of breathing room every month. And in 2026, when a lot of people already feel like they have zero slack, those small leaks become massive. Reason number 4, no real buffer, living paycheck to paycheck, even at higher incomes. This is the fragility part. A huge chunk of normal people, including many earning 6 figures, are one bad month away from real trouble. Car needs major repair, medical bill shows up, job gets shaky, emergency travel, anything over a few $100s forces borrowing or stress. Recent numbers still show around 37% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without selling something or going into debt. That number hasn't improved much despite wage growth because costs grew faster for most households. And in 2026, the background anxiety is higher. Some sectors are still feeling the slowdown from 2024 to 2025. AI is making people nervous about job security. Hiring isn't as aggressive as it was a couple years ago. So the fear of what if I lose income for a month is real. That's why it feels quietly broke. Everything looks okay on the surface, but there's almost no margin for error. Okay, we've covered the harsh truths. Now let's flip it. You don't have to stay stuck here. You can turn this around without becoming an extreme budget monk or working 3 jobs. Here are the realistic first moves that actually work for normal people. 1. Track every dollar for 30 days. No judgment, just visibility. Use something free like Mint, Pocket Guard, or even a simple spreadsheet. You'll be shocked where the money is leaking. 2. Build a small emergency buffer first. Target $1,000 in a high-yield savings account. Right now, you can still get 4 to 5% APY at places like Ally, Capital One, or SoFi. That one account changes everything psychologically. 3. Freeze lifestyle creep on purpose. The next time you get a raise, bonus, or side money, immediately auto-transfer at least 30 to 50% of the extra into savings or investments before you even see it in checking. 4. Do a subscription and BNPL audit. Go through your bank statements, Cancel anything you haven't used in 60 days. Pay off BNPL balances aggressively, smallest first for momentum. 5. Use a simple budget framework. The 50-30-20 rule is still solid. 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% savings or debt payoff. If housing and bills are eating more than 50%, start by attacking the biggest fixed cost you can realistically lower. Once you have $1,000 to $3,000 saved, start small investing. Open a Roth IRA or use your 401k match if you have one. Put it into a low-cost total stock market or S&P 500 index fund. Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab all have great options with almost no fees. Start with just one of these this week. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to start. That's the real picture for 2026. Normal people aren't going broke because they're stupid. They're going broke because the math got a lot harder and the traps got sneakier. But the good news is you can fight back, one small decision at a time. If this video hit close to home, drop a like. Comment below with one thing you're going to change this week. I read every comment. And subscribe if you want the next step, my full 10K savings formula that works even on an average salary. Thanks for watching. Let's build something better in 2026. I'll see you in the next one.